again, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I am joined by Derke today from Fnatic, and we're going to chat a little bit about what is going to be happening in Brazil and various other things as well. But welcome, Derke. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me here.
I can't. It's your first time here, actually. I can't believe it's your first time
Yeah.
here. First of all, I gotta say, there's been a lot of new things. You know, there's a new map. There's some new teams as well. But you have two new players.
Mhm.
How's the new roster? How's Chronicle and Leo? How are you guys doing in general?
Really good. I think we meshed up well already. Like people are having fun and like treating each other as a friends like a lot. So I think it's good.
What do you think they bring to your team? So, in terms of maybe more structure or flexibility, I guess I'll start with Leo. What does Leo bring to your team? Do you think?
Leo's a really smart guy, so it's like bring structure. Also, he's like uh, it feels like he's sometimes telling people what to do, sometimes too, like mid round or like micro plays, like yeah, I'm gonna drone like you do this now. So it's like easier to play around him sometimes too, because he can like kind of like do something or like tell someone what to do, and just like him having fun, and he gives like good feedback to a lot of people.
He seems like a quiet person, you know, just from like the past that he seems like a very calm sort of energy. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think he's calm. I don't think he's like too quiet. I think like when he has something to say, he will say, and like uh, I don't know, good balance, especially when in the team. There's like I feel like there's a good balance right now of who talks and who doesn't, like so it doesn't like uh, conflict with each other too much.
Now, what about Chronicle? Obviously, I know you've known Chronicle for a while as well. What do you think he brings to the team?
I think he's like glue of the team too, like being fun and just like playing other agents provides feedback too, and I don't know, like kind of like I don't know how I will say it, but like boosts morale too and suggests ideas too. I think everyone in the team has like really good ideas and inputs on how to play, and I like that everyone has kind of like their own style of playing too.
Now, I really want to quickly talk about last year because I think a lot of the narrative online and also expectations from fans, from analysts, is that Fnatic, they do super good online, they do super good in Europe. They're always, you know, expected to qualify for international tournaments. But the reason that you haven't won a trophy is because you guys are prone to choking or you've thrown away your chances. How fair do you think that is? Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that?
Not really. I think we've always kind of like online we play good, and then online it's kind of like hard because we tended to do the same things that we did online, and then also like something happens like outside of like in game, which kind of like affects people on LAN too personally, and then it's like also like prax might not go well, or we have trouble in prax, and then that same thing like bites us afterwards on LAN, and it's like kind of like I don't feel like we've been in a far that yo we're gonna win and then we choked and everyone's like what happened. I think it's always been like we knew what our mistake was, and then at the end it just like loses us the game, or like someone just does something dumb, or like I don't know. It's like a lot of things that just like uh, kind of like goes in, and then like we lose, and it's just sad because we know usually we have like way more potential than we show. Like what happened, especially last year, and then always what happened. Like the first LAN, Iceland, I got COVID, break couldn't come. Second LAN, it's like Mr. gets COVID right before it, and then whatever happens during champions, it's like people getting food poisoning or whatever, and it's like other teams having it too. They just like still gets into our heads a bit, and like a bit of unlucky, but you cannot complain because I feel like a lot of people were in the same boat, and especially like even Loud in Iceland, they had like two people with COVID, and they just got to play from a hotel, and they still got good results. So it's like you cannot blame on that. And then just some things doesn't go well, and
Never 100% is what you're saying. Like you're never going
yeah,
into it like 100%.
yeah,
Um,
it just felt like we just don't have like the last piece of the puzzle at LAN, and then we just lose because of it. That's how it felt.
I think people forget that you weren't at Iceland. I think people looked at that tournament and were quite harsh about like,
Yeah.
oh, they didn't, they lost both of their games and so on. But of course, there was a lot going on behind that. Now, you're one of the best players in the world. How are you feeling about the fact that you still haven't won a trophy? Do you feel like you should have won one by now? Or maybe, again, like you said, there were so many different things that you weren't expected to win one.
I mean, the game has been around 3 years now, and VCT for like 2 years. So it's and third year is just starting. So it's like there's only been 6 trophies to lift, and there hasn't been one team that lifted like multiple or a couple of them. It's only like one max. And I just think it's like hard competition because everybody wants it. Every region is good. It's not like in some games where there's only one good region or a couple of good regions and everyone's else is just like nowhere. In this game, it's like everyone's good, so competition feels tough. And it's just like what I felt is like we could have won the Iceland, we could have maybe won the Champs 2021, where I had a good performance too, or like maybe the second Iceland, but I wasn't there. Like who knows? And it's like a bit. I mean, I'm not kind of like sad about it. Like my, I think in my head, I'm just like, I just have to work and it will come eventually. It's not like oh, I have to do it now or like by 2024 or something. I don't think I have like time limit for that, and I don't really feel bad if like I don't lift it like for 2 years because I know like if I'll put in the work, it will just come.
Yeah, you want to get more than one anyway, so one
Yeah.
is just the beginning. I'm glad you mentioned Iceland 2021 because I know after that you had a great tournament, but I think in the grand finals, you've spoken about this in the past, you felt like you could have done more,
hmm
individually in that grand final. And of course, the person that was opposite you that did do more was Tens. I know this has been a long time coming. You haven't had the opportunity to play against him again, but you're going to get that opportunity now in Brazil. So, how much are you looking forward to this? And I guess, how much better do you think you are now as a player compared to 2021?
Uh, I'm really looking forward to it because it's like a rematch, kind of like with old members of the teams just rematching against each other. And then also it's like uh, 2 years, and you want that like revenge kind of, and then it's like single elimination. So it's like kind of like a lot of stakes, but also it's like I don't really have that much pressure from it. I would say like I don't really care if it's single elim or not because it's like I believe a lot in this team, and for me it's like I feel that in myself, like there's a lot of difference as a player. I feel like I'm like more disciplined right now, and just like I don't like I will never feel like I'm like better with aim. I think it's always the same or like in my head, even though it improves, I think. But I just feel like what I am as a player, like more disciplined and just like playing off my team more and just like uh, reading the game better. Like I don't feel like I'll probably will be better aimer than I was. I think I'm like fine with that. So I just need to focus on like what I'm doing in decision making and that. So I'm really like excited because we prepared a lot even now. Like we're practicing a lot, and with this new team, it's like it's really nice to see the results of the prac and how people play with each other. Like I think this team has a lot of potential and probably way more than any like versions of the team we had. Just because like the amount of potential we have in the players and like how players just play with each other, it feels like good chemistry.
You telling me that when people watch this is gonna be like, you know, like 50% of the reasonable people are like, oh, that sounds good, and the other 50% people just being like, okay, Derke said it. This is the best Fnatic team of all time. We're gonna win trophies this year. Is that how you're feeling? Like, are you aware that people are maybe gonna overreact with expectations of your team?
I mean, people will always overreact and probably with other teams too, because there's a lot of teams who have like better rosters than they ever had before too. So it's like you cannot really judge those people. And for me, it's like I just see more potential in this roster than in other rosters. It's not like I'm dissing other players or anything. Just like right now, the chemistry and like the puzzles we have and how the players play, the amount of potential and like just the raw firepower we have, it's like just insane. And how like more discipline we approach to the pracs and like just do strats. For example, I just feel like it's like a kind of good mix between 2021 and 2022 we had, where in 2021 we were like strict and disciplined, and in 2022 we were like a bit more loose. And now we have like, I feel like players to do both, you know?
I think I remember Minnie talking about, you know, maybe being too loose wasn't the best idea. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good to hear that you guys are going back to a bit more structure. And I think you guys as a team, whenever there's a new map, you normally benefit quite well. You know, Icebox came out, you guys are doing great. Fracture, you were owning on that. Pearl, not so much. I'm kind of hoping that you guys are going to be a bit better on Pearl. But when it comes to Lotus, how are you feeling about this map? Do you think it's going to be more of a Fracture Icebox situation, or are you still figuring out like you were with Pearl?
I think we're still figuring it out, but the map feels great every time we play like ranked on it or just like see it or watch streams. It's like feels enjoyable to watch. I think it's like well designed map and just really nice to play with. But I can say because whenever I play the map, I just feel so bad because I just feel the design is like a bit meh and just it doesn't appeal to my eyes. Whereas like Lotus, it's really well designed and has cool stuff. Whereas Para the cool stuff it has is like nighttime, which makes me sleepy. Like for some reason, like I tell it all the time. Then like it's not enjoyable to play in rank, so like I just alt F4 every time I queue into it. I'm like I don't want to play this man because I know we cannot go past like B wall against Viper, and it's just gonna be like the same story. Someone's gonna get pissed off like after 4 rounds and run it down, and then in team play it's like you don't know what's gonna happen because the comps feel like rock, paper, scissors, whoever's gonna pick Neon or like Chamber, Jet, like all those combos is just like a bit annoying.
Mm. Uh, I've played against you on Lotus when we were testing the map, so it kind of suits your style, right? You can just op. You have a lot of room to op on the defense. Is
Yeah.
this still the role that you're going to be going for? Like you don't have to tell me specific agents you're playing, but now Chamber has left the meta. Are you still going to be on that predominantly like opping duelist, going back to the jet? Is it still the same? Because obviously we saw you and Alpha kind of switch roles in the off season a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna play more op too. It's like just my role, and also it's like more of entering on like T side mostly. So it's like I still want to be on the op, and I still like to entry a lot. Like those two things are just like what I would like to do probably forever. And it's like sometimes I can just drop the op to someone else. Like I think we have like good players to do that. Both are alpha, they can play op. I don't know about Leo and Chronicle. But I always trust Boster with top. Like like I said to him like 2 years now. If anyone in the team I'll give up to is probably Boster.
I think after that 4K, Astra 4K, yeah, he's proved himself a little bit. He's proved himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last question before I let you go, it's kind of related to the expectations of your team, but you know how like everyone loves a good tier list. I've seen many tier lists already
Yeah.
going into Brazil. There's going to be 32 teams there. No one's really seen you guys play as a full roster outside of that Japan tournament, which was still
Mhm.
like a bit of a show match. So with you know the knowledge that you know of your team, and after scrimming all of the other teams as well, where would you put Fnatic in the tier list going into Brazil? So like S, A, B, C, D.
I don't know what I will say. Because if I put the S, people will overhype. If I will put A, I don't know what people will say. I'll just, I don't know. Let's see. I'll put B for Brazil.
No, you're not putting Fnatic in B, Derke. You
Who
can't.
cares? It's tier. It's like I don't know. It's hard, especially when there are two teams. It's like I don't really care where I am or where other people like put themselves because I know how the teams are gonna like get Thanos snapped instantly go back home. It's like it's just like unlucky, I guess, and it's like only one best of three for some teams, which is like it feels insane because if you lose map vetoes, you just lose the game essentially. Like
Mm.
I think that's what the most teams are gonna have. And then it's like who's gonna cook some strats or like have some insane things to show and just like drop some team. Because I think a lot of people will have new strats that like show things that nobody have seen before just to make it out of the first round.
Okay, so
With,
we sticking with B then.
yeah, I'll go B for Brazil.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Are there any teams that you feel like could be S? Like it's very early. It's really, really early. But in your mind that you're expecting at least maybe to be around that S tier?
See, probably Paper Rex. I just feel like with their style, they're just gonna drop some really early. I don't know why, and it's gonna be in like funny style. That's how I feel like.
All right. Thank you very much, Derke, for
Yeah,
joining me. I really appreciate your time and good luck in Brazil.
yeah. Thank you.